Hello everyone, this is Joakim from Sabaton. Check out Legends on Radio Unica. It is a bit of a sidestep and a bit of an evolution. I think in a sense, we're an evolutionary band, not a revolutionary band. So if you listen to two albums, between them, let's say album 4 and 5, it's not going to be a huge difference. There might be a smaller step or a bigger step. But if you listen to our latest album and our first album, there's a massive difference. And in between the albums, then there are, well, organic, smaller or larger steps. So when we did Great War, moving into the war to end all wars, we were dealing with the same topics. Both were about World War I. Both were written kind of close together in time as well. So it's natural that there was a small step and not too much difference between them. Now it is a bigger difference in the topics, much bigger, because we're dealing with not 4 years of combat, we're dealing with 1,800 years before Christ to 1,800 years after Christ. So it's a big time span. Very different vocabulary if you're singing about ancient Egypt, or Hannibal taking elephants across the Alps, or Napoleon using artillery. That's a very different technologies in war. Also in military history, religion has been very important, so we're dealing with a lot of different gods or faiths on this album in that sense. So I think that in combination made this a bigger step. It's a more of an evolution on this album than on the previous ones. The first people who popped into my head were likes Julius Caesar, Joan of Arc, Genghis Khan, and Alexander the Great. But Alexander the Great is not on the album. I had this idea for his song. I have a theme, Alexander's theme I call it, basically. And that's great. And then I wrote more. What I wrote more is shit. So, and I don't want to do that to Alexander, you know. So I guess he will have to wait to a later time. So some of our favorites aren't there because we didn't have the right music. We started out with, I don't know, maybe 200 ideas of possible people, you know. But that's only the first draft. That's a really quick process. Then no, yes, no. So we work down until 40 or 50, maybe. These are the people we're primarily looking at. But we know that like only 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 is gonna make it, you know. And at that point, it is mostly down to what do we feel like at the moment when we are creating the music? Or if we have music that's already been started, created, what is a good match? So the music decides sort of the legend we are bringing into the fold. Because it depends on what story do we want to tell. Some stories can be told very triumphantly, but also through hatred. And those are very different songs. Yeah, it's tricky to boil it down. It feels like we are abandoning more legends than we are actually creating songs for. Gut feeling. There was nothing to go on when we started this. We didn't even have a record label at that time because we were still negotiating, so we had to start the ball rolling. And we went with our gut feeling, basically. We thought Templars sounded Sabaton but also new, and it was a good song. So it sounds Sabaton, but not like Sabaton, something Sabaton has done before, and you know, cool and new and fresh, and we liked it. So we recorded more videos, so there will be more videos coming. I'm not gonna spoil too many surprises, but we have at least 3 more. I want to release them, you know, now, but you know, that's up to other people. I'm not allowed at the table when these things are being decided. Hordes of Khan, that is a very typical Sabaton song. So we wanted at least one that was really, this is Sabaton. Yes and no. I mean, we're label mates now, since we're both on Better Noise Music, and they asked if we were open for collaborations like this, And for me, in general, I like it. I mean, I've been singing with Baby Metal and, Apocalyptica and a lot of good bands. But that was always planned from the beginning. Here, we already had the album. The album was already recorded. And then, are we going to throw other people in to something we already done? So I was a bit grumpy there. It's not going to be very good. But when we got the files, because I'm open-minded, I may be grumpy, but I'm not stupid. So we said, sure, let's see what ideas they had with the song, and it was awesome. I did not expect it to be that good. Not that I doubted them, but yeah, Johnny, damn, that man can sing, and Mark's guitars were great as well. So it was, once I actually heard it, it's like, hell yeah, why not? Let's do it. I think if you look closely on that album, you will find all the legends on the album except one. We wanted everyone there, but then at a certain point, when are you destroying the image just to put in more information? So I think we made the right call. We had the idea, surely, but in the end it's Peter Sallai, guy from Hungary, who we've been working with before. By far, it's absolutely his best Sabaton artwork so far. I love it, actually, because there's so much to discover, especially if you get it on vinyl. I just seen the vinyls on the bigger formats, when you can do that, or if you have it on screen in a high resolution, because that is high resolution. It's so much wider than people think, not only the square, There is so much more to that artwork. And there is so much, it's so beautiful and simple at first glance, but there is so much to discover. It's a bit trickier when you're dealing with the further back in time you come. Because obviously if you're dealing with Napoleon, he's a very well, documented figure. But when we're dealing with Senusret III, Pharaoh, ancient Egypt, 1,800 years before Christ, then we are moving to the edges of what we can do and still be working with history and not myth. However, ancient Egypt, compared to us Scandinavians, 1,800 years before Christ, we didn't have a elaborate writing system, if any. Maybe we chopped big war, I win. I don't know what kind of writing system we had in Scandinavia in those times. Senusret III was considered a god during his lifetime, deified during his lifetime. It was normal for pharaohs to become gods when they died, sort of. And then there was a hymns sort of composed in his name, the cycle of songs they would call it, just like our song, the cycle of songs. So most of the lyrics in that our song is from those hymns that were composed in his honor during his lifetime. First of all, yes, we have big plans for that, because we took away everything we have for the stage set. Everything goes away. Totally new, because we can't use tanks on stage now. I mean, we still might throw in a song where there is a tank involved, yes. People might want to hear Primo Victoria. People are going to be very surprised when they see what we roll out in November. It's the first time we're doing these shows. So it's month and a half left, and I still haven't seen the stage set. So I'm really nervous, but also excited. And regarding Latin America, I don't know exactly when, but we are coming on. The plan is to come on this cycle, because the reason we came now in April, May was that due to the pandemic and everything that happened, and then a new album, everything was cut off. So our touring plans for Latin America never happened. And we didn't want to come to Latin America with legends and not having done Great War or the War to End All Wars. So we decided to get in as many shows as we could get there, so sort of catch you guys up. So you got to see the World War I stuff as well. And then our hope is to come back with Legends properly, where we can focus on the Legends album.